Welcome to another episode of the Butterfly Mindset Podcast.
Left late night, what a mess. We woke up and we're still obsessed. Can't keep it straight night and day. We keep it classy, still we stay.
Welcome to another episode of the Butterfly Mindset Podcast. Today I have my new and good friend, Robert Aldana. I think the first time we talked for like an hour and a half.
We did. That was crazy. That's crazy. My wife's like, who are you talking to for an hour and a half?
At 9 p.m.
It was like 9:30, 10 o'clock at night. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, dude, that's amazing. I'm really happy to have you
Yeah,
here. Came
absolutely.
all the way down from
Scotts Valley, Santa Cruz.
Scotts Valley, Santa Cruz.
Uh-huh.
We call you the king of Scotts Valley and Santa Cruz. So talk to me. I mean, look, you absolutely crush it. I've looked at from when we met to where we're at. Like I've looked at all of your numbers and everything. Like
Right.
You absolutely crush it. I've heard from multiple people and I've seen the stats. You're the number one person in that area.
Right.
Agent.
Right.
I
I don't know that I'm the number one person, but real estate agent, my kids will tell you.
Well, I heard that you're going into restaurants and people are like, "Hey, how's it going, Robert? How's everything?" Blah blah blah. Like everyone knows you in your market.
Yeah.
Which is a really powerful thing, to build a business and build a community, right? So I'm interested in getting into that, but I'm more interested in like how you actually got there,
Okay.
because we've talked and through conversation, I was like, I found out that you grew up down here.
Yep. East LA.
That's crazy.
I'm an East LA boy. Lived in off Olympic and Soto, by where that Sears is, for those people who know. And then we lived in Compton for a couple years, and then we came back to East LA. And so, like, Los Angeles is like my roots. It's what I love.
Yeah.
I really do. Like, I feel at home here. I'm going to tell you, like, I've never been to Newport Beach because we couldn't afford to come to Newport Beach when we were kids. In fact, I don't have a middle name because we couldn't afford a middle name at the time. But I think more than anything, I'm from the area here, moved to Northern California. My father was like head of security at the projects that we lived in. And so we were living there, and my dad, one time, he towed away a particular gang member's car because he kept parking on the sidewalk. And so the guy got really mad, and he went to our house, shot my dad, shot him in the head as he was coming out of the kitchen. Completely changed our lives. Obviously, it's a life-altering thing. My dad lived for a couple of years after that, and he ended up dying eventually. But what happened was, like, there's so many things that happen in life that just kind of just give you a different trajectory.
Yep.
And you're either gonna, learn from it, or you're gonna wallow in sadness, right?
Yeah.
And
How old did you say you were?
I was 14. I was 14, yeah. And I think for me, my mom was cleaning houses in Northern California, and she was, and I always wanted better. Like, I always wanted something different, In my culture, for a long time, we didn't preach the importance of education, and that's changing a lot. I'm glad to see that. But in my culture and the Latino community, it's hadn't been preached a lot. It's like more like work hard and work hard and work hard. And so I met a gentleman, his name is Vic Rodriguez, and I told my mom I was helping her clean a house, and I said, "Wow, Mom, this is a really nice house." And she says, "Yeah." I says, "What is this? What does he do?" And she said, "I think he's like in real estate or something." I said, "Oh, what is that?" And she's like, "He sells houses." I said, "Okay." And he walks in. He drives his car, drives in. It's a nice house, got a pool and everything. And I'm like, "Hey, Mr. Rodriguez, my name is Bobby," because they knew me as Bobby,
Yeah.
And so if you call me Bobby, it's because you've known me for a long, long time, right?
Yeah.
And so he says, "I'm in real estate." And I said, "I want to get in real estate." He goes, "You do?" I said, "Yeah." I said, I want to do what you do." And he said, "When you're 18 or 19, come see me." And sure enough, when I turned like 18, I started working for him. I started doing things like, that's when faxes started coming in, and I was like, making copies, running paperwork, because things needed to be taken, like paperwork would be taken by hand back in the day. And it wasn't like today, you email, you scan it, like that stuff wasn't around then. And so I just kind of basically just followed in his shadows. And it was so funny because when I first started in real estate, I didn't have a car. I got my real estate license. So I didn't have a car. And my mom and I were like, we got to get an office, because I said, I've got my license. We got to get an office that's close to our house, because I don't have a car. You're gonna have to drop me off to work every day, you know. So we found an office down the street from our house, and I had one suit. I had a dark blue pinstripe suit from JCPenney's.
Oh, yeah.
I got it for $79. I remember the price.
Yeah.
$79.99. I got a light pink shirt and a blue shirt, light blue shirt. I had two ties. I had a dark red tie and a dark blue tie. So one day I would wear the red with the blue, and vice versa. And I remember, like, you know, I just super hungry, and I had a certain mindset where this was like my calling. And I sold my first house like the first month, and then I sold a couple more, and I started selling a few homes. And I was at a Christmas party, and it was really funny, because like my mom would drop off like my lunch, and she called me Bobby, and she would drop off my lunch, and she'd be like, "Is Bobby here?" They're like, "Who's Bobby?" Bobby, Robert Aldana, Robert. Like, "Oh, Robert Aldana." And they're like, "Yeah, I'm just here to bring his lunch." And back in those days, we had like intercoms.
Yeah.
So it was like, you know, you push a button and you talk, and the whole
whole
office, the whole building like finds out. They're like, "Kick, Bobby, your mommy is here to bring you lunch." You know what I mean? So God bless her. You know, she passed away a few years ago. She's a hardworking lady, and you know, so she would bring me lunch and everything. And I remember being at a Christmas party with a few agents, and they were like surrounding me and talking to me. They're like, "Dude, like how are you doing this?
Yeah.
Like, well, you're selling all these houses, and not all of us are selling a lot of houses." They're like, "You don't have a car, you know, you wear the same suit every day, just different shirt, right? And I heard that you don't have a high school diploma." I said, "Yeah, that's true." Because I quit high school to help my mom, because my dad was eventually dying, so I had to take care of them and so forth. And I said, "Well," I says, "What do you mean?" He goes, "Well, you're not," and he said this in front of like 3 or 4 agents. He said, "You're not supposed to sell your first house for the first like 6 months or so." And I said, who said that? And he said, "Well, that's just kind of the way it is. Typically people," I says, "Well, nobody told me that."
Yeah.
And that's mindset, right? So like, you know, a lot of times we think about like, you know, what we can and can't do. And we many times condition our mind to tell us like, we can't do that.
Yep.
Or we can't do that. And I love that saying, he who says he can and he who says he can't are both right. And that's very true.
Well, it's like you put, you know, a simple example is a small goldfish, right?
Mm-hmm.
You put it in a small little tank, it won't grow.
Yeah.
It'll stay tiny.
Yeah.
You get a bigger tank, you'll see those goldfish grow.
Yeah.
Same with koi fish. Same with, you know, this is so it's like when you look at this like big picture, right? Like you look at your environment and what people tell you.
Yeah.
You either accept that or you don't,
Yeah.
right? And when you're not told, "Oh, you're not supposed to do that," blah, 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 your mind, you can do a lot more than what most people believe. But most people put you in their box, in their tank,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And so it's about breaking that tank, that mindset, that thought process is huge.
It's all about mindset, man. Because like, I'll tell you a story. Speaking about fish, so we moved to Milpitas of Northern California from East LA.
Yeah.
And we went to this lake, right?
How old were you when you moved
I
in?
was 14-ish, 14 maybe, around there.
So I want you to get to the story, but so you're 14. So dad walks out, basically gets shot from this gang member around 14 years old.
Right.
Then shortly after that, you guys moved.
They moved us because they had to move us immediately. They actually said like they came to our house, a lot of different police squads, and they're like, "You have 2 hours to pack, and we're moving you out of here." Because they couldn't find him, and he had said he was going to do the same to our whole family. You know, he was going to shoot our whole family. So they had to like surround our place, and then they had to get into a. I got into a police car. My mom got in a police car, and all of us, and we were driving out, and so it was like we didn't know where we were going.
How'd you deal with that as a 14-year-old? Do you have siblings?
I do. I have a brother and 2 sisters.
Older or younger?
I'm the oldest.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm the oldest. Well, I think, Cyrus, I saw it so much in my neighborhood that it didn't shock me, and that's really crazy. That's sad to have a lot of kids go through that and see that, because it kind of like desensitizes you.
Yeah.
That's the word I was looking for. And it's not that I was desensitized, but I think for me, I just saw like that stuff all the time.
Yeah.
A lot of kids that I went to school with were in gangs, and they got, someone got killed, someone got in prison, all this other stuff. And I never was a part of that. I always, and here's what I'll tell you, like, I super love all the kids that I grew up with, because like I never wanted to be a part of that. Like, I just wanted to play ball. I love playing football and baseball. That's my thing. I love to play. So when the kids would go do what they're going to do, whether it's going to go tag a house or do this, I'm like, I'll see you guys later. That's not, I'm going to go play some ball. And they were really cool about it, And that's why, like, a lot of times kids think that they have to do it because their friends do it. And no, they don't. You can make your own decisions. And I really, as much as I didn't respect what they were doing, because they were doing stuff that they shouldn't be doing, I respect the fact that they let me be my own guy. And make my own decisions. So, so consequently, that's kind of,
That's crazy. I mean, like just the thought process, talking about a lot of mindset, like thought process of being 14 years old and then this happening, and you being the oldest sibling, like you probably felt a lot of responsibility too, to make sure your family was safe. Like, because you just all of a sudden become the man of the house.
100%. You nailed it. That's correct. Because you did. And that's why when I turned 16, I had to quit high school, because I needed to go to work, because, my dad was really sick. So and you're right. And it's like, you become the man of the house. And so at 16, I became the dad / brother / son. You know what I mean? And so, but here's what I'll say about that, Cyrus, is that, like, I don't want anybody to feel sorry for me. Because, like, to me, it's part of life. And it may not be the part of life that other people, and I wouldn't want it for my kids. I'll tell you, like, I would never want that for my kids. Come on. But we all get to our journeys from different paths, and to me, it's like, and I don't mean it in any disrespect to my dad and the situation that happened, because it was a very tragic and sad situation, but it did take me out of there, and it took me to another part of the state where things were different, and regardless whether I grew up telling myself I'm not going to do the stuff that the other kids do, regardless of that. The pressures that you get. Because, we were talking about, so you're talking about the goldfish, right? And a lot of the communities in the projects and so forth, they live in a square community. So it's like, all they see is that. All they see is what's going on right there. And they don't get to see anything else out there. And it's like
you said, you've never been to Newport. Right?
You couldn't afford to come here. It's like Newport's like, wow, that's crazy. Like, that's an incredible, like your office right here is us. Insanely beautiful. I mean, congratulations to you. Well done. Well done to you. But I feel like, that's why if we do something in life that we get out of where the neighborhoods that we grew up in, that's why I believe big time in giving back and going back and telling our kids, like, hey guys, you don't have to live this life. Because you really don't. We all make our own decisions. But yeah, it's just, so in a way it was, and I'll never say it's a blessing, because it's like, it was a bad situation, but it did take me out of there. It took my kids and my brother and sisters out of there,
But so. It's I say the same thing. I lost my dad when I was young. I was 6th grade, and I went through a lot of this in my life, like losing family members, death, and so on and so forth, and like. Everybody, they always ask, like, people always ask, like, what's the best thing that ever happened to you? What's the worst thing? Yada, yada. Let's talk about, usually that's the best. And I say it's the same thing, right? Like the best thing and the worst thing that ever happened to me was my dad passed away. Not because my dad was a horrible person. My dad was an amazing human being. Amazing dad, amazing father, supportive, yada, yada. But if that didn't happen, I wouldn't be here right now. Where we're sitting, having this conversation. So I have to also, even though that this happened, I also have to be thankful
100%
for this happening, even though maybe I don't understand why. I'm a big believer in everything happens for a reason. At the moment, I don't understand why. I'm upset. There's times that I still, to this day, I still cry about it. Because I miss my dad. But at the end of the day, like if that didn't happen, I wouldn't be where I'm at. So I also have to be thankful for it. It's like this crazy thing. So
I get
100%
you. I get exactly what you're saying. It's not that we could never be happy that our parents died. We could never be happy of that. But we recognize the significance sometimes. Sometimes things happen for certain reasons. You know what I mean? So like maybe your dad sacrificed so that you could be doing the things that you're doing today, And I just feel like, when one door closes, another one opens. It's like, this happened. Now where are you going to go? Now what are you going to do?
Well, and it's also like, I mean, honestly, like it's just I feel like it's just a better way to live, right?
Yeah.
Like thought process of like there's two ways to think about it, right? There's one way is like the world's against me, everything's bad, and it's just horrible, and why this and why that.
Yeah.
Or look, this happened for a reason. I may never know the reason, right? Like I may go to my deathbed and never fully understand the reason, but I have faith that there is a reason for there.
Right.
My life gets a little easier when I have that thought process. You know what I mean? I'm not questioning every second why I'm here. It's like, hey, look, this happened for a reason. It's leading me to be where I'm at, and it'll guide me to be there down the line, right? Like this is so important for us to like. Yeah. So that's my, and I see the same thing thought process wise. So it's pretty interesting.
And it's mindset too.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like, so what are you going to do now?
Yep.
Like, how are you going to handle this now? And I don't like saying this word in a disrespectful way, but sometimes you have to man up. It's like, boom, you gotta, put your big boy pants on, and it's like it's time to grind. This is real life. And I had a little brother and two sisters, and I was like, I needed to make sure they were okay. Yeah,
100%.
And so for a long time, I had a relationship with them that was father son, father daughter relationship, in a sense where like. They saw me as their brother, but they also saw me as an authoritative figure. So that was hard to sometimes like separate, and so forth. And I think our relationship suffered a little bit because of it. And I'm disappointed that I allowed that to happen, and just in a sense, because we're just like, I was just throwing in there like, dude, it's time for you to get to work. And I
totally understand that. I mean, it's an interesting thing. It's like my brother-in-law passed away, 8 years ago now. Mm-hmm. And, I have my nephews and my niece and everything. And for a while I felt that's my job, right? But also it's like, I also want to be the uncle, the fun uncle, the thing. But like sometimes these kids have to be disciplined. They have to be, 100%. Like, and so it's like, I feel the same exact way. It's just this fine line where, down the line, hopefully they either realize it or understand it, and then go from there, So it's an interesting thing. So you moved up to
Northern California. Little town called Milpitas.
Yeah. And then you were going to give me a fishing story.
Oh, yeah. So, the fishing story is more like, it's a mindset thing. We talk about this. You and I have been talking about it. We just started talking. We really just met today for the first time.
Yeah, exactly.
But we talked a couple times on the phone. It's all about the mindset. I remember my mom took me to, there was this place called Ed Levine Lake, and it's like a little lake. And it was literally like you can swim in 2 minutes from one side of the lake to the other in your Crocs. You know what I mean? It's it was like, it's that small. So went to the lake. We were at the dock, and there were some kids that were fishing. And my mom wanted to take a walk. She was going through hard times, so she just would take walks, as my dad was, he was dying and so forth. And so, she took a walk one day. She's like, go over there and go hang out and see what those kids are doing. So I walk up and I'm like, hey guys, what are you doing? And they had fishing poles. They're like, we're fishing? I'm like, all right, I get it. And I'm like, how often you guys come here? And I just made friends with them. I didn't know them. And they're like, you should come join us, And I said, yeah, I got to buy a fishing pole. Well, I had been working at the projects, like I was picking up trash, and they would give me like for a big bag of trash, they give me like 50 cents or something like that, know. And so I ended up having I amassed this wealth of like $65, right? And so we're driving home, and I told my mom, I said, hey, I want to buy a fishing pole. I want to go fishing. I want to go catch a big fish with those guys. And she's like, oh, she goes, we just can't afford it right now. We can't. I'm like, hey, I saved some money. She's like, what do you mean? I said, you know how I pick up this stuff? She goes, yeah. I says, well, I got like $65. She took me to Kmart, go into Kmart Sporting Goods, and I go straight to the fishing department. And then I start looking at the heavy poles for the deep sea fishing, right? Yeah. And this is like a little pond. Some guy comes out to me and that works there. He's all, hey, how can I help you? I said, yeah, I want to go fishing. I'm looking for a fishing pole and a reel and line and hooks and everything. He goes, where are you going to be fishing at? I said, at Ed Levine or Sandy Will, one of those two. And he goes, that's like a little pond lake. He goes, you're in the wrong place. I said, no. I said, I want to catch a big fish in there. He goes, yeah, but you don't understand. You're in the pond section, right? And he goes, let me take you over here. And he took me over there, and I'm like, no, this is not what I want. He had these little fishing poles. I went back to the deep sea area, and he goes, you're not going to be able to catch. I mean, this is way too much stuff. I said, look, I want to catch a big fish, so I need to prepare myself for a big fish. True story.
Yeah.
So the guy's like, okay, if that's what you want to do, that's what you want to do. I got this huge, thick, the rod was this thick, right? You couldn't even bend it. I got a fishing pole that the kind that they have in the actual ocean that has the open reel and just like, and then you do this, you know?
Yeah.
And I got fishing line that was 35-pound test line because I'm like, I want fishing line. Bought it. I show up to the lake and I walk up and all the kids start laughing at me. They're like, what are you doing? I'm like, I'm going to fish with you guys. And they're like, there's no shamu in here. Like, what do you think? What are you going to get? I'm like, I want to catch a big fish. So I had went home the day before. The day before I had made some like dough out of masa, you know, like tortilla dough, flour dough. And I put garlic in there. I did a lot of research on how to do that. So I put this big old globs of, and they were cracking up at me. They're like, what are you doing? Like, wait, they were throwing worms and everything. So I throw it out and they're just cracking up and they're like, oh my God, look at him. He thinks he's gonna catch a whale here. They grinded me for like 10 minutes.
Yeah.
We're sitting there and I'm just like laughing. Like, hey, I said, I want to catch a big fish.
Yeah.
And they start laughing and all of a sudden my pole goes wham. I'm like, holy cow. I said, that's a big fish. So I start pulling it in and my pole is actually bending and that was a really thick pole. And the kids are like, you probably caught a tire.
Yeah.
You probably got a tire. There's probably like a car down there you're pulling. And they were just making fun of me. And they're like, that. And then as it gets closer, you see the fish start moving around. Everybody's like, holy shit. They're looking at it. And I got like a 25, 26-pound catfish.
Wow.
Biggest catfish anyone's ever seen in there. And I pulled the catfish out. He was huge. It was huge. Yeah. And all the kids were just staring at me. And they were like, what just happened? And the next week, they showed up with big fishing poles. But my point is, like, the mindset, like a lot of times the mindset starts when you're a kid. So you got to encourage our kids. We got to encourage our kids that, you know, I know it sounds corny, but they really can. It's a lot about mindset. They really can. If you really want something bad enough and you have the proper mindset, there's a lot you can achieve. Yeah. But the mindset that I had was like, I wasn't going to get a little fish. I was there to catch the big fish. And I caught a big fish. And that kind of like, to me, that just catapulted me into a lot of other things. And I feel like, you know, I feel like we many times, you know, feel like we don't deserve things. Yeah. Or we feel like, because I did a video reel not too long ago, and I talked about parking, and my wife and my kids, a lot of times they crack up because I get parking like right in the front of the restaurants or the mall or the movie theaters and everything, but it's not because it's me, it's because that's where I look. Yeah. You know what I mean? It's like if you've probably done this before, like you park way down, then you're walking and there's all this parking in the front, right? You're like, why didn't I park in the front? Because a lot of times our mind is conditioned to that we don't deserve it, or we're not going to get it, it's for somebody else, or it just doesn't exist, right? Yeah. And I feel like if you have that proper mindset and you go towards where you want to be, that's where you should be going first. Yeah. Now, if you can't achieve that, then you scale back a little bit. But I think that our life and our business is made from mindset. Yeah, that's 100%. Who we are. Yeah, 100%.
Well, you get what you prepare for.
Absolutely.
Right. Like a lot of the times, it's the same concept. Like when you get, when I got into real estate, it was the same thing. It was like the guy's like, oh, you can't sell that much in your first year. No one does that, and I'm like, what? Then you're not the right fit for me, right? Like, and then go do triple what he said I couldn't do. Yeah, exactly. Right. And it's like this thought process of like you get what you prepare for. Like if you expect to not be able to do that, so then you prepare for not being able to do that, you're gonna not be able to do that. It's very simple. A lot of people though, like we just, again, we get caught up in this box. We get caught up in other people's belief systems and boxes, right? Like every single day we go out there and someone puts a box around us and says, this is what you're supposed to do. You look like this, you talk like this, you walk like this, and you live here, this is what your result is.
Exactly.
But that's not the case.
That's not.
Right? It's like if you looked at your life and you looked at my life and you put them and you said, okay, now, and then you put someone that, some kid that grew up here in Newport Beach, right? And you said, okay, which one's a person that's going to be more successful? Like probably 9 times out of 10 people are going to choose the kid growing up in Newport Beach, going to the private school, going to this, doing this, yada, yada. But the reality is that's not what success is, right? Like because, at the end of the day, it's how bad do you want it? And it's It's we choose our future,
Right.
right? Like we choose our box.
Right.
We get to decide if we're going to end up staying where we're at. And now, does that mean that it's easy for me to just be like, oh, hey, I grew up without this and I grew up without that, and all of a sudden I manifested it all popped up? No.
Yeah.
You have to put in the freaking work.
100%.
And sometimes, for us, it's a little harder work than somebody that maybe grew up here in Newport Beach.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, how bad do you want it?
Yeah. And you know what's interesting about that? That's perfect. And a lot of it has to do also, like, when you succeed, you're going to be blown away at how many people don't like that.
Yep.
And it's crazy because it's like, you know, we're told as kids, like, you know, work hard and do the best you can. And, you know, if whatever you're doing, you know, make sure you have a ton of integrity and you back up what you say and you take care of your people. And then you practice that in your business and your career and you end up succeeding. There's a lot of people that don't like to see people succeed. Yep. There's a lot of people that hate professional athletes, not because they've done anything, but just because they're so damn good, they hate them. LeBron James is one of the most amazing athletes and human beings. The guy has never gotten in trouble. The guy's just like, he's totally like, you know, he's got the same wife that he's had since he was in high school, you know, the same person. And he's just a solid human being. He is the hardest working guy out on the court before the games and during the games. People hate him. Yep. Why do you hate LeBron James? Because you hate him because he's successful. And so many times we tend to hate on those who are doing things. Why? Because it reminds us of the things that we're not willing to do to succeed. And it reminds us, and we feel shame. Yeah. And I think that's why that happens.
100%. You don't get, it's a song. I listen to hip hop. I'm a hip hop person. And I've probably talked about this on my podcast a million times. So if I got to remember the song name at one point, but Russ says something like, I've never met a hater that's making more money than me.
Yeah.
Right? Like success doesn't hate down.
100%.
You know what I mean?
I know exactly what you mean.
Like, you know, when like our conversations are not, he's doing that. But no, it's like, how can we help each other grow and build and yada, yada. And like this.
It's inspiring.
Correct. Yeah. But when people are here and they're looking up, that's when you start, the haters are there in this space. They're not here looking down. Usually the people here are trying to help these people up, right? So it's very interesting thought process. This is the whole concept of like the 5 people you're closest with to determine your mindset and your net worth, right? Like if you're around all of these people that are constantly hating on other people that are successful, most likely you're never going to get there because of that.
Yeah.
Right? Because your mindset is a negative connotation towards success.
Yeah.
Which is a whole nother freaking, I go on for
another podcast
hours, bro. You know, like when you start thinking, like when you hate successful people, like you will never become successful because your mind triggers hate towards success. So you literally, it's like this thought process that you're literally, what is it called? Self-destructing, right? Like you're literally constantly gonna go ahead and put inside, every time you become successful, you're gonna find a way not to be, because subconsciously you're thinking successful people are bad because you hate successful people. Yeah. Which is like whole freaking...
It's crazy, right?
Yeah.
It's crazy. Like, you know, like in my area, just an example, like in my area, you know, I do most of the business in the area, right? Yeah. And so I give back a lot to my community. I give back to our schools. I write checks for thousands of dollars to our schools. We volunteer. My wife volunteers. We all work and we do fundraisers. I've raised, God, I can't even tell you how much. It's probably a few $100,000 for our schools and community things. And my clients are all happy. And then I get hate. And I'm like, that doesn't make sense. Like, why? And they're like, well, you know, he's arrogant. No, you have to be confident in what you do. Yeah. And if you're not confident in yourself, how do you expect other people to be confident in you, right? Yep. And it's just kind of how it works. And I'll be the first to tell you, right? It does sometimes, you know, it stings, because it does stink, because you're doing the best that you can to be the best possible professional for your clients, and you're trying to be the best a possible person in the community to help just do, and then, but it's part of success. You're not gonna succeed in a certain level without it. And another thing too is they say that show me a person who doesn't have anyone who hates them, and I'll show you a person who hasn't really done anything in life. Anytime you stand up for anything, and because like I stand up for a lot of things, and a lot of people stand up for a lot of things, and anytime you stand up for things, you're gonna get people they're not gonna like it.
Yep.
It makes them uncomfortable. And so it's just part of, like, at the end of the day, this is what I tell my kids, because my kids will talk about it. And I said, at the end of the day, guys, I'd rather be me than them.
Yep.
And that's okay if that's how they feel, because I work my ass off, and I'm supporting my kids and my community and my schools and, different things. And they're going to hit me for that. Hey, it's fine. It is what it is. But you know what's funny? 95% of the people think you're freaking amazing. Like, I'm talking about you, right? They probably think you're freaking amazing, but all we hear is that 5%.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean?
Exactly. Yeah. And it's crazy because, like, I don't know. I was at an event or something like that, and one day I was just like, boom, 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 boom. And I remember going to my wife, at the time she wasn't my wife, but, my girlfriend at the time, and just being like, why, like, these people, like, are people that in the industry we look up to, that everybody's like, blah, blah. I'm like, what? I haven't even met them and they don't like me.
Yeah.
Like, what? That doesn't even make sense to me, And it was very much that conversation. What you have to realize is, like, at the end of the day, and you know what? It took me back to a conversation that I had, and I just spoke at Inman about this, and it took me back to a conversation I had with one of my coaches when I was younger. And I had to remind myself of this. And so I've been telling this story a lot lately, because I think it's becoming more and more evident, like, with growth.
And there's no mistaking. I mean, you are a power player. Like, your name is out there. I mean, the stuff that you do is, like, it's pretty awesome, pretty amazing. I flew down here to come meet you, and because you're amazing. So and you get it and you feel it, right?
Yeah, it's crazy. And so, like, this whole thought, I appreciate that. Thank you so much. But it's this whole thought process. Like, so my coach, when I was younger, I went on this trial with this team. It was a pro team. I was like maybe like 16, 17 maybe. I played goalkeeper, and so I went on this trial. I went to go coach, and I went to go play, and I did amazing. End of the week or whatever, coaches came up to me and they're like, "Hey, we want to talk to you in the office." Boom, we're sitting down, talking to one of the assistant coaches. Tells me, we really like you, blah blah blah. What do you want to do? We want to move forward. We want to figure out what this. And I said, I got to talk to Zach first. Zach was my goalkeeper coach, and this coach, this specific coach, goes, "What do you have to talk to him for?" And I said, "Well, that's my mentor. That's, like, who's helped me. Like, he's my coach. So I just want to make sure." And at the time, the guy was a U.S. men's national team goalkeeper coach. It's not like this random guy, right? Like, and he goes, "Well, Zach doesn't know anything. The only reason he's there is he knows how to talk and play poker. Like, basically, he just knows how to, what do you call it? Network."
Yeah.
And I go, "Hey, F you.
Yeah.
Screw you. I'll never play for your team. If he's not here, I'll come play for you guys. If not, then I'm never playing for you." Blah, 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 blah. I went off on him and I left the office. And I felt proud. I was like, hell yeah, dude. And I left and I called Zach. "How did it go?" "Oh man, it went amazing. They wanted me to sign, blah, blah, blah." And I told them to F off. And he goes, "What?" And I go, "Yeah. You know why? Because they said this, this, this about you." And he goes, "Are you stupid?"
Yeah.
Like, you're supposed to, like, in my mind, I was thinking he was going to be like, "Yeah, it's my boy. Good job. Like, let me set you up with somebody else because, screw them."
Yeah.
He goes, "Are you stupid?" I go, What do you mean?" And he goes, "Cyrus, you believe in God, right?" I'm like, "Yeah, I believe in God." He goes, "You believe God is all powerful, he can do all things, yada yada." Yeah. He could change time even. Yeah. He goes, "Some people don't like God. Why do you think everyone has to like me?"
Yeah.
I'm like,
yeah.
I felt so stupid so fast.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it's this thought process of, like, no matter what, you could be all powerful. You could be the best human being in the world. You could do all of this good, yada, yada, blah, blah, blah. You could be God himself, and not everybody's going to like you. There's still going to be haters.
Yep.
And so it's this reminder, and I've been like recently, I've been talking about this story so much, probably told it like 20 times in the last month. And I think it's because of that's where I'm at in this space. I have to continually remind myself, like,
for sure,
this is what's happening. You know what I mean? And it's very much this mindset of like, look, like at the end of the day, no matter what, there's always going to be people that don't like what you're doing.
Yep.
So just do you. Yep. Just be you. It's what you said is, I'd rather be me than them.
Yep.
Right? Like,
you know, I'm in Africa, and I'm walking through the Serengeti, and I'm with the Maasai tribe. And we need to get to the village, and it's getting dark. And that's another story altogether. We were late. So we're walking through the Serengeti, and tons of mosquitoes are biting you, and everybody's stopping to do this and that, you know. And every time we do that, we lost like 10 feet from the Maasai tribe. Yeah. Like, you know, the actual warriors, Maasai warriors. And as we're, you know, frisking all the mosquitoes and stopping every minute, the Maasai warriors are just walking. They're just walking straight, and they're at their destination a few minutes before we got there. And to me, it just kind of like, I just try to find, I try to find a meaning behind it. I was like, man, these guys are amazing. Like, and that's because the mosquitoes are always going to be there.
Yep.
You can stop and try to swat them off, and you're never going to get your destination, you know, or you could just have the proper mindset and said, I'm just moving forward. And it's funny because the more you throw out the mosquitoes, the more they want to get you. It kind of feels that way, right? Yeah. And that to me, just like, it spoke to me and just kind of like, wow, I never really thought about this. These guys are just walking through the Serengeti with mosquitoes everywhere, and a few of them would land on them, but they just kept walking. And us, we were stopping every 3 minutes, just swatting them off, and then we had to run to catch up to them. Yeah. And that's how life is.
100%. You know? Yeah. I love that story. Yeah. That's so true.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think at the end of the day, a lot of it's white noise, and you just got to get rid of the white noise. I talk about this a lot on a lot of my stuff, and that's like getting rid of the white noise, like all the stuff that you hear that takes you away from what you want to accomplish as a human being. And I'm not talking about being the best ever. I'm just talking about being the best version of yourself. Yeah. Right? And that's cool. Like, it's whatever you want to be. Like, you don't have to be the number one in the whole entire county. You don't have to be the number one in the city or wherever, or even on your block. You just need to be the best version of you, of who you want to be. And I think if we put that in perspective and we, you know, take away all the white noise, you know, we'll get there. And I love what you said earlier. It's like, yeah, you have the proper mindset, but you still got to go out and get it. Yep. You know what I mean? So you still got to go out and work. So
there's no faith without works, right? Like
100%.
Like you have to put in the work, right? You have to make the choice to go. Like you if you sit and you're just like, I'll have $1 million one day, and you sit there and you manifest this, and then you just sit there forever. You'll die sitting there.
100%. You'll go broke sitting there.
You'll go broke sitting there. And you'll rot. And you'll die.
100%.
But if you sit there and you think that and you believe that, and then you go out and you take the action to do it, that's when it'll happen. Right? It's buying the big fishing pole. Right? Like it's very much that thought process. Like if you want that, then prepare for that. I freaking love that. So you're number one in your market. You're absolutely crushing it. I have a couple more questions, actually.
Sure,
I got two questions.
I flew all the way here for you. You can ask me anything you want.
I appreciate that. One, like, where can people connect with you and find you?
Well, you know, obviously on Instagram under Robert Aldana, just my name. And I'm also on Facebook. I run a Facebook page called My Scotts Valley for that whole area. And we actually have a reach of, you know, people see our posts like pretty close to about 1 million a month.
Wow.
Which is crazy to me.
That's insane.
Because we got like 32,000 followers, but it just, you know, what happens is they all share it and they start, you know, sharing it with other people. And so some months I'll have, you know, 880,000 followers. Some months I'll have 1.4 million, not followers, post reach. Yeah. Some months I'll have 1.4 million post reach. So you can go to My Scotts Valley, but you can also look me up on Facebook, just Robert Aldana. You know, like,
love it.
You know, facebook.com/Robert Aldana. So yeah, that's how you find me.
I love that. What's next for, like, look, like you've accomplished so much. You're number one in your market. How do you stay number one? And then, like, what's your next play? Like, what's your big move?
You know, I hate to tell you this, and I hate to tell everybody, but I'm still hungry. And I feel like I haven't seen the best of me yet. I'm super hungry. And here's what I'll say: like, I love what I do. People ask me all the time because I'm 61 years old, right? And they're like, "When are you going to retire?" And my wife's like, "When do you think you're going to retire?" And I'm like, I have to be honest with you, I don't know, because like I don't know that I'll ever retire. I just know that I'm having way too much fun doing what I'm doing and getting paid what I'm getting paid. And for me to walk away from something you truly enjoy, I don't know when that's going to be, but here's one of my big dreams that I hope comes to fruition, only if they wanted to. But my daughters want to take over my real estate business, and one is 15 and one is 16. But I only want them to do it if they want to. They said they want to do it, and they're like, "We want to do what you do." And I said, what do I do? They said, "You drive around in your Porsche all day talking to people on the phone and going to coffee." Like, you're crazy. That's not what I do all day. I wish that's what I do all day. You know, there's a lot of work, and you know that, right? But I think there's going to be a point where they'll take over my business if they want to. We never want to pressure our kids to do something they don't want to, but that seems to be like kind of what they want to do to us. So like, to me, it's like it's music to my ears.
That's
so
exciting,
hopefully that happens, and if it doesn't, it doesn't.
But
I would say that I'm here for maybe 6 to 8 more years of doing it at the pace that I'm doing. Because you can't possibly sustain this pace at 70. I mean, it's just, you just have to get more staff. Obviously, maybe I could, but I think that in real estate, I know a lot of people who are like 75, 80 years old, and then they have a friend who wants to sell a house, and maybe I'll just do that when I need to. And I only will do it because I love it. And it's not because I have to, but it's because I love it. It's just so much. It's such a blessing. Our career, as we control our own destiny. And I would love to concentrate more on just community work. I love community work. I built my career around community work and giving back, and I believe heavily. What's crazy, Cyrus, is like the years that I've given the most back to my community are the years that I've prospered the most. It's so amazing how that works, and that you don't do it because you're going to prosper back. You do it because it's in your heart. That's what you want to do. But I would love to be more active in more things with our schools and with our community, and just try to continue to try and be a better human being. So, but I think right now, I just want to be able to, I just want to continue doing what I'm doing because I don't see any end for me. I know there will be an end game, at some point. I try to, I work really hard to try to stay in shape and keep myself healthy so that I could be here for a long time. You know what I mean? That's important. Also, we got to take care of ourselves.
100%.
Like a lot of times people, they forget about that. And you have to take care of yourself, and you have to make sure that, hey, if you want to be here forever, not everyone's going to be forever, obviously, but if you want to be here as long as possible, it's great to have all the wealth that you established through the years, but you also have to take care of you, like mentally and physically. You have 100%. To do that. And I'm a big believer in that. So
I love that. One more question. You got someone maybe high school age dealing with a similar situation as you, lost a parent, has younger siblings, dealing with has a lot on their shoulders. What piece of advice would you give them?
God, that's a great question. I didn't expect that question. Here's what I'll say. I think that if they were going through something like that, I would tell the kids to first have the proper mindset and just really take a couple step backs and figure out what they want to do or where they want to be in the next 3 to 5 years. It's hard to say when you're a kid like that where you want to be in 30 years. Although there are some kids who think that far ahead. But I think take a little step back and appreciate what you have and figure out what needs to be better, and take it day by day, because a lot of times we want things in chunks. We want everything. We want like immediate gratification. And immediate gratification doesn't happen like people work out and they become these incredible specimens in terms of physically. It doesn't happen overnight. It's like a repetition. So I would think that is having the proper mindset and surrounding themselves with the right people. And surrounding themselves with people that are like-minded. You know what I'm saying? That's super important. You have people that that are, you're not happy to be around, but you're there because it's, you don't have anything better. No, you need to remove yourself from that situation. Surround yourself with better people. Surround yourself with people that make you feel good. That's super important, as a kid. And I would say, just think through like what you want to accomplish, like with baby steps.
Yeah.
It just doesn't happen overnight. And
I love that thought process. Yeah. I mean, that's like, sometimes when this happens, you said it, you just want to like, something big happens, some big change, you want to go and like, it's uncomfortable. Mm-hmm. It's scary. It's uncomfortable. And you just want to go like jump into comfort, like whatever that comfort is.
Yeah.
But I think what you said, it's very important to feel it and like go through those baby steps. Like it's not going to be big change right away.
Yeah.
But if you go through it and you just take those little steps, that's where it's going to be big change. I love that.
Yeah, and it's about, the proper people around you will give you the proper mindset also.
Yeah.
Because when you're not around the right people, they'll give you the worst mindset you can have. And surround yourself with people that are like-minded and who want the same goals and visions that you have. And you can't soar with the eagles if you're scratching with the chickens.
Yeah, 100%.
That's really the truth. And that, I don't mean that in any condescending way, but I just mean in business-wise. Like if you want to be, whether you want to be a better person, surround yourself with better people, or whether you want to be a better business person, surround yourself with better colleagues.
Yep.
Talk to and learn from the people who have done what you want to do.
I love that. Yeah. That's it. I had this conversation with someone too. It's like recently is like, you got to take advice from the right people. Mm-hmm. Everyone's going to have their opinion. You go into a room and you're like, what do you guys think about my outfit? Yeah. There's 100 people are going to have a different opinion.
Yeah.
But go get the advice from freaking Giorgio Armani.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like
100%.
Like, go get Ronnie Fig to tell you like these are the people that like get the people that are where you want to be.
Yeah.
And take the advice from those people, not just anybody.
Yeah.
Right? And I think that's a very important piece. It's what you said. It's like surround yourself with the right people, with the right mindset.
For sure. Because like, to me, I've always marveled at sometimes when people spend so much time listening to people who have never done what they want to do. And it's not a knock, but at the same time, if you really truly want to be there, then be around the people that are actually doing it.
100%.
Michael Jordan practiced with Scottie Pippen and all these other guys. Kobe Bryant practiced with all the top players, and that's who they practice with.
Yep.
Because it's like a sword sharpening another sword.
Yeah.
And that's what life is, in general.
Yeah, I love that. I appreciate you so much for being on today.
Brother.
Thank you for coming down,
Of course,
dude.
Man. That was awesome.
Hell yeah.